This is you. You better lower your mother tone when you talking to me.
And the stock market went crazy today. Oh my gosh, it had a $50 bounce. Shout out to the president, Donald J. Trump. He told everybody to buy. He told everyone to buy. Ha ha, wow. How did you guys do today? Comment in the comment section. How did you guys do today? Look at that big body green candle. It's one of the biggest body green candle I've ever seen in a while. Holy moly, donut shop. It makes all the other candles look so small. You look at this candle for March 3rd. Look how small March 3rd's candle. Look to today's candle. Holy crap. March 3rd's range. The low of that day was 579.9 and the high of that day was 597.34. Uncle would dream of every day SPY would trade in a range like that. But look at how small that candle looks compared to the candle that we had today. This was historical, guys, historical. But how did we trade? How did we trade sheep style? How did we trade using the price action and the levels that Uncle Charters always gives you guys? Well, you got to look at my Discord, right? I have a SPY updates room. I'm going to find it for you guys right here. Both 494 and 496 must clear to trigger a bounce with higher targets in play, 498 and 500. If 496 defends and 494 fails, 492.5 and 494 would be in play, guys. You look at the candle, the 930 candle is right here. This is the 930 candle. I want you guys to look right at that candle right there where the arrow is pointed. And you see my green lines are the levels that I give you guys, I give my Discord members. That green line is the 494 level and this right here is the 496 level. You guys seen what happened. It cleared 494, cleared 496, and from there it even treated 496 as a support before it went up higher, smashing, going as high as what, 503, a little more than 503 before it started chopping in the midday. But boom, around noontime, right around this area, oh, let me get my arrow, right around this area when SPY was consolidating. SPY was consolidating just below the 500 level. Okay, let me change the color of this line, okay? Red. That was the 500 level. You guys can see it was struggling a bit to break out, but it was consolidating just below. When you see something like this, that's not exactly bearish. If it was bearish, it'd be a strong rejection, and the rejection would be strong enough to break down the lower support level. Instead, it consolidated just below the 500 level, and then boom, it cleared 500. That was the trigger to buy calls. What the uncle say? We had know the levels, know the setups, and we traded unbiasedly. So the level was 500. The setup was if we clear it, we look for calls. If it rejects, we look for puts. If 498 fails, instead it broke 500. So Donald Trump, our president, said to buy around that time. But did Uncle buy calls because Donald Trump said to buy calls? No, Uncle bought calls because the setup, the price action said to buy calls. And this was around the 1 o'clock, 12:45 into the 1 o'clock candle. So we go to the 1 o'clock time. The time's all posted on the Discord. That's what I love. And I wrote right there, 500 cleared. 500 cleared. Putting those higher targets in play. And you guys can see how 500 cleared. 15-minute chart, guys. I keep it simple. 15-minute chart. And then the next one I put 502 cleared. 502 cleared, 1:16 p.m. when I wrote that. And then holy moly donut shop. After we cleared 500, after we cleared 502, we had that historical bounce to the upside. So did Uncle Charters buy or tell his Discord members to buy because Donald Trump said to buy? No. We did it because the price action said it. I had no idea that Donald Trump tweeted, to be honest with you. I saw my Discord members, write that he said that, but I didn't actually seen it myself until after the trade was done. And it was incredible. But man, what I'm just so grateful for today. And I hope and pray with all my heart and soul that you guys were able to catch the move. But remember, Uncle Charles, we posted the signal, the setups before the bounce even happened. And I did right. If you played the 502 breakout, Uncle does have a lifetime membership. Okay, lifetime membership saves you money in the long run, and you can do it for the rest of our life. One-time payment, just making crazy amount of money, catching these crazy setups. My goodness, guys, historical. But that's the recap of the day. Remember, I don't tell you guys this stuff to show off or anything like that. I tell you guys this stuff so you guys know how Uncle uses the levels. I use the 15-minute chart. I identified the levels from the daily chart. Okay, this is all from the daily chart. Then I go down to the 15-minute chart and I add the levels as horizontal lines. Okay, the levels could be coming from downtrend lines, moving average, Fibonacci levels, structures. But once I go down to the 15-minute chart, I just put them as horizontal line. I keep it simple. Simplicity. Okay, then we break out resistant or false breakdown setup. You look for calls. False breakout setup, or we break down support, you want to look for puts. And it just worked out so freaking beautifully. We didn't even have to watch Donald Trump's tweet. We just watched the charts. Now, let's get to the plan. Let's get to the plan, okay? Remember, I use a 15-minute chart and the levels from the daily chart to intraday trade, okay? But what's the plan for tomorrow? Well, you guys see SPY filled the gap. Okay, we had a gap from April 3rd. That's filled. We have another gap from April 2nd. To fill that gap's around 555 is. We got to get above. Before we can even get there, though, the 20 daily moving average is around 552.8. All right? And before we can even get there, we have a fib level at 549.6. Okay? When I give you guys these levels, I ask that you guys please add them to your charts, write them down, or just hopefully you guys remember them, you know. But I like for you guys to do what I'm doing. The levels, add them to your charts like I do, horizontal lines. So the levels I'm giving you for resistance level 549.6, the 20 daily moving average is around 552.8. Now, moving average levels a little complicated because they constantly change every day. Right now it's 552.8, but tomorrow it could change. So the thing I can tell you about the moving average is to please turn them on for your charts. Have them on, because I say 552.8 today, but tomorrow it could be different. But the point is, the price needs to clear and get above the 20 daily moving average to make more upside possible. All right, to possibly go fill the gap around the 555 area, and got to get above that. I have a fib level of 555.4. We got to get above that for me to consider the gap filled. Some people just need the gap area to be touched. I personally like to see the gap area price close above the gap, the pre-gap area, and then I consider that filled. But whatever you guys decide, or whatever you believe, 555 to the 555.4 area is a tough resistance level based on the gap, and it's also a fib level. But if we can clear that level, more upside is definitely possible up to 560, 563, and 566. Like I said, before we can even get there, 549.6, the 20 daily moving average, and the 555.4 levels are the levels to watch. If they clear, we are heading up higher. Now, that's the bull case scenario. If it is pullback time, as usual, do not call a top. Uncle Charlie has been doing this for years, and for years, I have preached that I do not call tops, and we shouldn't. None of us should call tops or bottoms. What we should pay attention to are the signs of a top and a bottom. Okay? Now, not every false breakout setup leads to a top, but every top started or was put in by a false breakout setup. So remember what a false breakout setup is when we clear resistance level, and then that resistance level that was cleared fails to hold as support. It couldn't validate the breakout. Okay, so 549.6 is resistance level, which means I have support at 548, 545, and a fib level at 543.3. If we are to play a bearish setup, we'll need a false breakout. And if we are to get a false breakout, those levels that I just mentioned, 548, 545, 543.3 must fail to put 542, 539.5, 538, and 536.3 all in play. And with the volatility that we've been having lately in this market this year, I'm pretty sure we're going to get much more than a level-to-level move. I'm pretty sure if we start breaking down those support levels I mentioned, it's going to be nasty, a nasty drop to the downside. Remember, guys, even in a bear market, when fear is high, the bounces are violent. Honestly, I didn't think it would be this violent, but that's freaking violent, man. That's a violent bounce. But if we are to get bearish, Wait for a false breakout setup. Play the odds. Put the odds in your favor. Okay? It's not gambling. Okay? This is strategic. It's strategic thinking. It's tactical decision making. And it takes skills. All right? Uncle's identifying the levels for you. I'm identifying the setups for you. We break down those support levels. We want to go short. And if we break out those resistance levels, we want to go long level to level style and let your runners catch the home runs. Moving on to Triple Q. Unlike SPY, Triple Q actually back tested its 20 daily moving average. Okay, the Bears put a pause on that big bounce that we had. But if they fail to pause it tomorrow, that 20 daily moving average is around 468. I have a fib level at 466.4, then 468, and a level at 470. If bulls cleared those levels, then more bounce is possible. 472, 475, 477, and 480. All would be possible if we clear those resistance levels that I mentioned, 466.4, and the 20 daily moving average around 468. All right? If it's a true rejection, as usual, if it's a strong rejection, the rejection must be strong enough to break down support. That's best practice. So if we have a level at 466.4, the rejection from this area needs to be strong enough to break down 465, 463, and the fib level at 460. If that is the case, then I would feel more comfortable going short. Play the false breakout setup with 456, 452.8, 451, 449.6, 447, and 445 would all be back in play. Tesla with the amazing bounce as well, but it did pause just under the next fib level, which is around 275. If Tesla wants more upside, the level 275 must clear tomorrow to put 277, 280, 283, and 285 all in play. If this is a true rejection, it came very close to testing it today. If it's a true rejection, then support levels must fail. 272, 270.5. I have a fib level at 269. And then all the way down to 264 or lower would be targets. Guys, don't call a top unless we get a false breakout setup. All right. If we do clear 275, more upside incoming. Wow. NVDA with the amazing bounce as well. Amazing. Guys, we have CPI tomorrow. Woo-hoo! CPI, baby. Let's hope for more volatility and crazy stuff, huh? Anyways, I'm excited. I have support at 113.8 here. 113.8, and then below that is 112, 110, and a fib level at 108.6. If we're gonna get bearish, like I said, wait for that false breakout setup. Get in on that false breakout setup when we break down levels that we recaptured. Give us the false breakout setup to trigger puts. Otherwise, if we stay above 113.8, I have the next level at 116. If it clears, guys, we are bouncing a lot higher. All right, 118, 120, 122, and 124 plus would all be incoming for NVDA. Coin, incredible bounce as well. Next resistance I have is at 179. If 179 clears, 181, 184, and we do have a gap all the way up at 189-ish area. We do have a smaller gap. You see, this is the thing, you see? You see that? There's a little space right here. Some people will consider that not a gap because the wick is there. But then there's people like me that consider that still a gap because the price didn't close above. So that's like the debate in the community. You guys let me know what you guys think. How do you consider a gap to be filled? I'd love to hear y'all's thought. But if you're with me and consider this not filled, then there's still a gap right around that 194 area. Okay? So yeah, if coin wants some more upside, 179, 181 must clear to get us up to 184, and above 184 we can possibly go fill the gaps. Now if it's a pullback time at 179 defense, I do have support at 176. If that level fails, 174, 172, 170, and 168 would all be in play for coin. Okay, I'll be bear bias again below the 5 DMA, which is got to get below 163.5. All right, and here is the VIX with the amazing pullback. I have next support right now at 31.4, 30, and 28.2. If those levels fail, guys, more downside incoming. Trust no bounce unless resistant at 35 and 36.5 clears to put 40, 41, 44, and what's that next fib level? Around 47. They'd all be in play, all right? If we can recapture 35 and 36.5. Guys, from the bottom of Uncle Charles' heart, thank you guys for being here. I love y'all. I hope y'all made a shit ton of money today. It was incredible. Hopefully we have a lot more legendary plays. You know what? Our best trading days are still ahead of us, guys. Isn't that beautiful? As amazing as today was, our best trading days are still ahead. So no matter how old you are, no matter where you're at in life, if it's inside of you, if it's your desire to be a master trader, a money magnet, first of all, believe that you already are, okay? And operate from that consciousness. And keep on going no matter what. Man, let's do it. Love y'all. Bye.